Welcome to That Dang Dad. My name is Phil, and I'm going to have to give you a citation for failure to signal. Virtue signal, that is. So if you're extremely online, like I am, you might be aware that sometimes people who advocate for social justice issues online are accused of virtue signaling. And I kind of wanted to explore that concept a little bit and kind of give you my thoughts on it. So first of all, what is virtue signaling? Well, believe it or not, the term can first be traced back to John Wycliffe's 14th century tract Against Warriors of Social Justice, in which he says, "And lo doth the beta cuckold virtue signal for clout amongst the gentry." In all seriousness, when someone's accused of virtue signaling, they're basically accused of sort of loudly proclaiming the politically correct position on a topic, typically to signal to others that they, believe the right things, that they're woke or whatever. So I have a couple thoughts about this. So social media is a channel where we're all kind of developing our personal brands and kind of showing off who we are and what we believe in. So, there's an element of signaling to others that you believe this or that. There's a channel, Angie Speaks. She has a great video on how social justice can be a clout game online. You should check it out. I'll link it below. But, I do got to say, this is not limited to lefties or people who believe any one or the other types of things. Social media is this huge hall of echo chambers, and we're all kind of signaling to each other, yeah, I believe this, yes, I'm part of this group or this sect or that sect or whatever. So I think in the context of social media discourse, does virtue signaling exist? I mean, sure. I don't think that's a very useful criticism, just given that we're all doing it. Anyway, into my second point, and the one I think is a little bit more kind of germane to what I'm interested in, let me start out by saying that on my own social media, I do a lot of what people would consider virtue signaling. I see the outrage of the day, I see some sort of political news happening, and I comment loudly on it, particularly if it pertains to LGBTQ rights. However, I don't do it to virtue signal, I do it to ally signal, and I think that's a really key difference. If you see me going bananas online about something like, I don't know, trans rights or something like that, it's A, not because I'm trying to persuade anybody in the marketplace of ideas. B, it's not because I'm trying to get brownie points online for being woke or whatever. It's because C, I want people in the trans community to know that I have their back. See, it's important to me that people who are in vulnerable communities or facing some sort of oppression or whatever, it's important to me that they know that not everybody out there has a vendetta against them. That there's people out there willing to help them, willing to fight on their behalf. I think sometimes those of us who come from relatively privileged backgrounds like myself, we don't really understand what solidarity means in a very visceral sense. You know what I mean? I think for some of us, politics can come across like, oh, it's kind of a game, it's team sports, it's whatever. But, there's a lot of communities out there for whom politics is life or death. And so, yeah, I want people to know that I am here to fight for them, to fight for their rights, to fight for their lives. Now, don't get me wrong. My signal might be clumsy or hurtful or ignorant or uneducated. Being an ally does not inoculate me from criticism. But I think that's stuff for comrades to figure out together. I'm not really concerned with how this all looks to people who are on the other side of the fight, if you know what I mean. So next time you're on social media and you see somebody virtue signaling, before you deploy that tweet that's just gonna freaking burn them, ask yourself, am I the intended target? Is this an attempt at clout, or is it a declaration of solidarity? So what do you think? Is virtue signaling something to worry about? Is it any kind of big deal? Does it even exist? Is my definition useful? Let me know in the comments. And I know this was slightly more political than I normally do on this channel, so Go ahead and shoot me a like if this was something that you enjoyed. Otherwise, I appreciate you hearing me out. Hope I gave you something thoughtful to noodle over, and I hope to see you again on That Dang Dad. Good night.